Hello, everyone. I just wanted to take a few minutes to, first of all, thank everyone for all your hard work so far. Everyone is putting in great effort in our assignments, and you're doing a good job of getting your assignments in on time, and that's most appreciated. As you know, we are nearing our halfway point, and one of my goals is to make sure that each of you is successful in our class and that you get one step closer to your goal, which is graduation. And so after reading some of your discussion posts, some of your short essay papers or milestone papers, I thought I would take a minute to just try to give you a couple of ideas that you might consider as we continue our journey together and as you complete any future writing assignments. So regarding discussion boards, I think one of the key things to remember is please make sure that your initial post is submitted no later than the end of day Thursday. And the reason for this is that it gives your classmates an opportunity to read what you said. It also gives them time to formulate ideas and thoughts as they perhaps prepare a comment post back to you. So try to get that done by Thursday. The other thing is don't forget that you have to respond to at least 2 classmates. And your responses should be very thoughtful and should contain more descriptive thoughts than, hey, I agree, you make a good point. Perhaps go in and tell them why they made a good point, or maybe you have some disagreement with them as to their point of view, and you politely try to explain to them why your view may be a little different than their own. All right, so those 2 things are important. Secondly, take time to review the questions and what's being asked of you. Many of these discussion threads have multiple questions, and so you need to make sure that you address each of the questions that are asked you in the prompts. One of the easiest ways to do that perhaps is to create an outline. So as you're reading what the instructions are, what the questions are, jot them down and then start filling in the blanks with a sort of an outline. So you will make sure that when you complete your post, that all of the requirements for the prompts are there, right? Sometimes I will come in and ask you questions. Those are designed because as I read through your initial post that maybe I thought something was lacking and that you needed to address some of the prompts that for whatever reason you may have not had a chance to do so. So if I do that, that's the purpose of those questions. But that having been said, just make sure that you carefully review what each of the questions are associated with the discussion thread. Again, maybe consider using an outline as a means to make sure that each of those areas are covered in your initial post, right? So do that. Pay attention to the grading rubric and the assignment instructions and understand what's being asked of you there. That'll be important. So there's a lot of information in the grading rubric, and there's a lot of information associated with the assignment instructions. So each of our instructions, each of our assignments has those instructions. For example, the short paper sort of told you what to expect, what was going to be required, what you needed to do, and so forth. So just please make sure that you have a chance to thoroughly review each of those as you begin to prepare your response. Last thing is, remember, this is a college level course, so make sure that your responses to these questions you answer in a thorough manner. Express your ideas and thoughts more academically wherever possible, and perhaps even support that your thoughts through some level of academic research where it shows that you've sort of gone a little bit further than what was required, and you've done some additional research to support your position. You can also use whatever is listed in the assignment. So, for example, a couple of weeks ago, we had to look at, for example, the issue of DNA swabs, and there was a Supreme Court case. So referring back to that Supreme Court decision would have been useful. It sort of would have bolstered your position as to why you believe that particular act was either constitutional or unconstitutional. So please make sure you read those. If there's any additional readings, make sure you read those. You're familiar with them. Try to tie them into the content of your discussion. That shows that you have a good understanding of what the issue is, and have given it some serious thought as you responded to those particular prompts associated with that. So in this discussion, I've also included a short article. It's a little article on tips for writing successful discussion board threads. Take a look at it when you have time. I think you might find it somewhat useful. But it is just a tool to help you as we continue along with our writing assignments, and specifically the assignments dealing with the discussion threads. Okay. Next thing is just briefly, I want to talk about the writing assignments. Again, as you prepare your writing assignments, make sure you review the grading rubric and the assignment instructions and understand what's being asked of you and what is required. In other words, reveal your understanding of the content. And so, for example, in our recent hiring process assignment paper that you had to work on, here is the grading rubric, or part of the grading rubric for that assignment. And as you can see here, a couple things that were required. One of here says at least two sources cited in APA format were required. And hold on, let me just shift this back a little bit. There we go. In addition, if you look at the rubric, when we're talking about the hiring process and so forth, one of the things that you're going to be evaluated on was the submission provides the purpose of each step in the hiring process. So in other words, the why behind each step. Why is there a written? Why is there an oral interview? Why is there a psychological? Why is there a medical? Why is there a physical agility test? So these things, in conjunction with you providing the chronology of the steps used in the hiring process, was also part of this assignment. So you needed to make sure that you included the why behind each of the steps in chronological order of the hiring process for whatever agency that you elected to use. All right. In this assignment, you also had to describe the agency for me in terms of its size. Some of you were rather generic. You followed state guidelines. Some of you you looked at specific law enforcement agencies within your state, and that was good. So again, make sure you thoroughly read the instructions here, and then make sure you thoroughly understand within the rubric what's required of you. All right, so read all of this and then be familiar with the grading rubric. If you do that, I think that'll help out significantly. Also, you can, as you're preparing these assignments, consider again using an outline. This is the perfect way to make sure that your outline covers all the material that is going to be required for that specific assignment. All right. So let me just go back up here again for your writing assignments. Again, make sure you review the grading rubric, the assignment instructions, and are familiar with what's required. So if it requires 2 references, make sure you use 2 references and make sure that you cite those references using APA format. Now, since many of these writing assignments have multiple questions, consider developing an outline, just like I talked to you about, so that you will make sure you include all the requirements. And I go back into this short paper assignment here recently on the hiring process, and I talk about the fact that in order for you to get full credit for this critical assignment, you needed to, in part, list the chronological steps of the hiring process. So that would be number 1, a written exam, for example, followed by perhaps an oral interview, followed by physical agility. Some of you focus a lot on the general job requirements. Now, the general job requirements are different than the hiring process. The general job requirements are those things that you must possess to even apply for the position. So if one of the general job requirements is that you be at least 21 years of age and you're 19, you cannot apply for that job. Or if one of the job requirements is that you have at least a high school diploma or a GED and you do not, then you cannot apply for that job. So those are the general job requirements. Those are a little bit different than the hiring process, right? So here you needed to outline the chronological steps in the hiring process And you also needed to provide the purpose or the why of each step in the hiring process. So make sure again that you take the time, understand what's being asked of you, try to use an outline if you can as a means to help you draft your response, and so that you make sure that you address each of those prompts. And if you address each of those prompts, you're gonna achieve close to, if not maximum points. All right. So you just need to make sure that you cover each of the areas that are required in the assignment, and that you provide that in a good writing environment. All right. Please make sure if the instructions require sources of reference that you include them in your reference section and follow APA format. And to help you with that, I've also included the link here for APA. So make sure that if you're using something from the internet, for example, which a lot of people do, there is a proper way to cite from the internet. If you were to just, for example, if this was a reference, this link right here, and you were just to put under references and then you would just give me this hyperlink, that's not APA format. That's not how we would cite this particular link. So in APA, under this little guideline here by Purdue University, it describes how you go about ensuring that anything you cite, for example, from the internet, here's how you do that, and so that your citation is correct. Okay. So as we move forward, stay strong. Sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, especially we're at the halfway point, and especially if you're taking more than one class. I understand that you're very busy. Plus, you have you have your family and your work world that you have to take care of. So as we move forward, just stay strong, stay motivated. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me at any time. I've been in your shoes. I know what it's like to go to school at night and have a family and have a job and try to find time to allow the commitment to each of those. I understand. So if you have any issues that pop up, if you're not going to be able to get assignment in on time, you need to let me know so that I can work with you so we can allow you time to complete that assignment within our late policy guidelines here at Southern New Hampshire University. All right. So you're doing a great job. Keep it up. Consider these little tips as you move forward in some of our future assignments. And again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email, call, or text me anytime, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right. Thank you, and have a good week.